Welcome to the Fail Forward podcast. The purpose of this podcast is change the negative stigma around failure into a positive. Failure is only a negative if we do not learn from it and we give up. Welcome back to the Fail Forward podcast. My vision is to help people overcome the fear of failure so they can live their goals and dreams. And part of that is by running successful businesses. And one thing I've learned about business, failure, everything to do with it, is that you've got to be driven, you've got to be determined, and you've got to be committed. And times will be tough. It's not always going to be plain sailing. It's not always going to be easy. And one thing I've learned is that when times get tough, we tend to resist things and we tend to procrastinate and we tend to maybe avoid things. And one thing I learned from the recovery of my business world is that I went through a lot of tough times, and there's still tough days now, but you've really got to push through and be committed and determined. Now, we were talking in the last episode about, having time away to be able to work out the solutions to your problems. But what I wanted to talk about in this episode is the fact that I always talk about failure being only negative if you give up and you do not learn from it. And I wanted to talk about the give up point, that when times get tough, never give up. Like, you can say no to stuff, you can stop doing stuff. Like we heard from James earlier in a previous episode, and he was talking about the fact that he'd left a business. Like, I think you can stop doing things, but never give up. Never give up on what your goal is, like what your overall goal is, what your overall vision is, because there will be times when it will get really tough. And one thing I learned is that sometimes at the toughest times I wanted to give up. I remember I used to go walking around the forest and I'd be thinking of different ways to escape the pain that I was in the sense of what other business could I do, what other industry could I do, what could I do. But one thing I realized is actually growth equals getting out your comfort zone. It can equal painful times, and the key is to never give up. Like, I've read The Compound Effect. If you've not read it, by Darren Hardy, it's a great book, and he talks about how if you do successful habits on a regular basis daily, that will compound into a positive place. And he also talks about getting big mo, and what big mo is, it's momentum. And that's what we're looking for in business, is momentum. And I remember on the tough days, I say to my coach and mentor, but where's my big mo? And he'd be like, it's going to come, Henry, honestly, it will come. And I'd be like, no, but I've been working so hard. I've put all my successful habits together. I'm doing everything the books are telling me. I'm doing everything my mentor's telling me. But it just seemed really hard at different points. And one thing I did was never give up. And one thing I'm telling you is do not ever give up on what it is you want to achieve. That your goals might change slightly. You might have to say no to a few things. You might have to stop doing a few things, but never give up on the overall vision and goal of what it is you want to do. I would always advise everybody to set a vision and goal of where you want to get to, and don't give up until you get there. And if it keeps moving, it keeps moving. But one thing I'd say is never give up, because eventually Big Mo will come. And it's taken me, since the business failed 4 years ago, it's almost 4 years this June, that we would have restarted. And it's taken me really 4 years to find my big mo. I'm in that mo right now, which I'm very pleased to say that we're now getting success in. We've got 3 core businesses, we've got 5 revenue streams, and we've got this podcast. The podcast is now getting loads of views and loads of attention. I'm getting amazing messages from you guys. But at times, I didn't think this was going to work. I didn't think this podcast was going to work. I've got stick from friends and other people to say, what am I doing this for? I'm fed up of seeing you on Facebook, and all these kind of negative things that have been said. And that's been tough on my mindset and mental health. And same in the businesses. And one thing I will keep repeating in this episode is just don't ever give up on what you want to achieve. Like, what you want to achieve, what your goal and vision is so important to keep following it, and understand that when you're getting resistance, it's probably because you're growing or you're out your comfort zone, and you're growing and out your comfort zone. When you're getting resistance, it means you need to push on and push further. And not when you're getting that resistance should you be giving up or stopping. You should be going and putting one foot in front of the other, taking action, not making excuses, keep on pushing forward, keep checking back in with your goals, checking in with your values, making sure that what you're doing is aligning with all of that, and never give up, because Diamonds are formed under pressure. I know that's a very cliche saying, but I believe that they are. And when you're under pressure, you will form into an absolute diamond, and you will shine, and you will create the life that you want. So never give up, keep pushing forward and create the success that you need in your life. Keep failing forward, because failure is only a negative if you give up and you do not learn from it. Thanks all for listening today. See you next time.